How are you? All right, we are live. Kyelie?
Good morning,
Excellent.
Sean, the first one to join us in the room.
Oh, why can't I see that? There we go. All right, well, let's kick off because there's people out there, I'm sure, looking and waiting for us to chat away this morning, Kyelie. All right, welcome everyone to the Public Practice Accountants Club on Clubhouse, where public practitioner, thought leaders, industry specialists, and accountants just like you discuss hot topics in public practice and how they go about navigating the public practice landscape around the world. So fundamentally, public practice is the same around the world. We have the same principles, dynamics, and challenges, no matter where we are in the world. We might have some different tax seasons, busy periods, and legislation, but at the core, we are very much the same. So, our room this morning is looking towards tomorrow, developing a business outlook. So I introduced myself very quickly. Most people will be very familiar with me. My name is Lynda Steffens. I'm an accountant, an author, and an introvert, three things that I'm very proud about. And this week, I have been down in Sydney at the Accounting Business Expo, thoroughly testing out my introvert. So lots of people down there. I was speaking, I was exhibiting. It was good fun, but it was exhausting. And of course, Kyelie Baxter, my wonderful co-host. How are you this morning?
I am a little exhausted this week, which is not a good sign going into May, but we did a great job last week. So, of course, last Wednesday we had Clubhouse off. It was like our holiday period, but instead we filled up that holiday time by going to a conference. But that's
We
okay.
did, of course.
Fun.
It was.
But you did a really great job.
Oh,
I'll quickly
thank
introduce
you.
myself. So yes, I'm Kyelie Baxter. I own a public practice accounting and bookkeeping firm. I need to start remembering that.
Oh, yes. Yes, you do.
Yeah. Here on the Gold Coast, which is not so sunny today, I've gone with the natural lighting, which is not really working out for me, but we'll see if it suns up a little bit more. And yeah, it's getting to that time of the year. Like, I feel like we've had 4 long weekends, we've blinked, and it's May, and we've got due dates happening. So this is a really prime topic about, getting things in order, because
Yes.
if you have not already done this, it's about to get
get real. That's it. It's very real. All right. So just to let everybody know, we are a CPA discussion group. I think you probably know that. So anybody that listens to the replays or the recordings or is out there listening in the live environment, you can get your CPD, CPE points for listening on in. And also too, we'd love to hear from you. Particularly, we'll be talking about developing this business outlook. We'd love to hear from you how you have developed that, or some of the activities or tasks you undertake that tend to be working on your business rather than working in. And if anybody did go off to these expos, conferences like Kyelie and I have just done, that certainly is a working on, even though it can feel like a bit of a junket or a bit fun. So I think that's some of the things we need to talk about today. But a quick reminder that as we kick off the conversation, our intention always is to be positive, supportive, and collaborative as we come together in support of our amazing industry, no matter where we are in the world. Okay, so are you so busy working in your business you forget to work on your business? And we see this in our clients. So every day you use your considerable skills and time to help your clients succeed in their businesses. But how much time do you actually devote to your own? So that's what we're going to be talking about today, because to succeed as an accountant and to succeed as a business person, both very important things. Okay, so the difference between working in and working on. Kyelie, do you want to help me out with that?
Yeah, I think working in your business is when you're doing the busy work, when you're doing, we're accountants, when you're doing billable work, when you're helping when you're helping the clients out with stuff, you know, when we're doing chargeable work, whereas working on your business is when you're working on processes or when you're working on ideas, like it could even be marketing,
Yes,
when you're
it
coming
could.
up with concepts. It could be training your staff. You know, working on your business is when you're not focused on your clients from a billing and dollars perspective,
Yes.
but you're focused on your clients from a, how do I want to service these people and what do I want here?
Yes. And all the planning and thinking about what goes actually into that, because you don't just land in business and all of this, you know, spend an hour thinking about what your business will look like and Bob's your uncle, it's there, right? You know?
It's a really interesting thing, because I think in the perfect world, you would do all of your business planning at the front end. And I think a lot of people think that, you know, like I certainly look at my clients and they're like, I've got this business plan and I've had this great idea and we're going to go out and do it. And they forget that having a business outlook is not only having a good plan, but it's about consultation.
Yes.
It's about review.
Yes.
It's about adaptation.
Yes.
You know, there's all these things that need to be done during the work time that people overlook. So it's not only about that front end load.
No, not at all. And I liked that word adaptation. I was about to say roll with the punches, because if you can't roll with the punches, you know, life and business, particularly if you've got team members, they're going to throw some real curly stuff at you from time to time, you know, clients as well. It just comes from all directions. So I think you've got to have some idea of what this might look like, but also be ready to adjust and to adapt and to learn. I think that's a big part of this. So let's go back to that working in that productive work. I think a lot of people start here, and it's the right place to start. We get in, we get a few clients, we get working, we get some dollars in the bank. Exactly. You've got to earn some money. But then I think it's when you want to go further from there, then we've got to find that time and that balance to do some of this working on, don't we?
Yes. And I think it has to be an intentional thing. You know, some people are naturally good at this. It's like leadership, you know, some people have some natural skills, and for some others it has to be learned. Same with working on versus working in your business. Some people are naturally really good at it and really good at deciphering, right, this task needs to be looked at in this way, or whatever the story is. But I would say the most people, particularly accountants, really need to think carefully and cautiously about working on their business. And, you know, in my opinion, there's a few reasons for that. The first and most important reason is because generally we become business owners, well, we all become business owners because we've worked our way up through the ranks.
And we're good at what we do.
And we're good at, well, we hope so.
Yeah, we are.
It's one of those things where it's like, been drummed into us. We've got to meet these due dates, and there's this happen, and you've got to be responsive to clients, and you've got to offer great service. And it becomes a little bit, well, how do I do all that and work on my business? So that's what I'm hoping we're going to get to today, Lynda. Answer that.
We are. We will get to that. Yes, I love that you picked that up, because traditionally, and particularly as an employee in the accounting industry, it is absolutely drummed into you. Your time is, everything needs to be recorded. It's about productivity. It's about write-ons, write-offs, all those things. And it's like, how are you supposed to achieve this? And if that's the way we make money, then how are we supposed to do that? And, you know, apparently go off to conferences and learn and do some training and help our team. And yes, it's tricky. I also think you're right that accountants tend to be a little more working on than working in. You know, the balance swings a little more that way. You'll notice, I just want you to reflect on some of your clients that tend to be a lot more working on and not working in, and the impact that can have. So it really is about balance and, you know, what is right for your business. Now, it'll be on a spectrum like a whole lot of things. Some people will do more, some people will do less. But I think the thing is that you have to do some. You have to be conscious conscious of it, and you have to do some if you want to be successful in business, because it's all very well to help our clients be successful in business, but what about us? And I think sometimes we can almost martyr ourselves a little bit in public practice as accountants, and it gets all our energy and everything goes into everybody else but us. And so that is not selfish to put some time into your business. I've had people say to me, it's like, well, if I'm successful in business, my clients, or I'll achieve new clients from that, because they're seeing that I'm successful. I know how to help them, and I'll learn how to help them even more. So there's a lot of different avenues to this. All right, if we talk about working on, we've listed some of the things that we might work on. So you've talked about systems and processes. That's certainly working on. And when we talk about systems and processes, I think then there's communication. Kyelie, you and I talk a lot about planning. We talk a lot about then the communication of what's happening. So I think in all of this, communication is super, super important. And if you're going to develop processes, the other C word you used there before was collaboration. Consultation, yes. Collaboration was similar,
right? Yeah, consultation I think comes a little bit before collaboration, because consultation is when you go to key people or groups that might be involved in the process and ask them what their thoughts, or get some feedback from them at that front end before you want to put a process in place or change something about your business. That can be really powerful because it stops you wasting time.
Yes.
Because as the business owner, we can have a little bit of a jaded view. I fully believe that we are the best people that understand and love our businesses the most and the best, but we can also have some rose-colored glasses on sometimes. So consultation for me and collaboration.
Very important.
Super good C words are very important because they will save you time. And I hate to be just really blunt about it, but they'll also save you money.
Yes.
Because a lot of the stuff that we have to do these days is spend. Lynda and I just came back from ABE last week, and it was all about vendors who have products to offer that will help your business. And Lynda, dare I use you as the example, but you are the perfect example. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
you are offering accountants this awesome program to help bring advisory into their business in a really fast way. Is it like 4 months?
12 weeks. Like 12 weeks.
12 weeks. Wow, sorry. So
that's
like
okay.
12 weeks. But there's a decision to be made, because obviously you're not doing that for free.
No, I'd love to be able to do that for free, but no, that's not going to help me be successful in business.
Right, and that's your business output,
yes,
which is very, very good. So I think, as accountants, we need to make sensible decisions where you're not just at something like that going, oh, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. You have to sort of take on all that information and then go back and review it and assess it and talk to your staff and talk to your clients and do all those sorts of things. Have the follow-up meetings. Do your research and then make an informed decision. We've all been to conferences and seminars where we've sat there and been so excited and so enthusiastic and gone, this sounds awesome, I need to do this, and gone back to the office and promptly got straight back into work.
Yes.
Done absolutely nothing.
Yes.
If there is anyone that can tell me that they're not being guilty of that, I will shake their head.
Yes.
But seriously,
yes.
That's amazing, because I think that's very, very common. You know what I mean?
It's extremely common. And even
business, developing a business. There you go.
I was just going to say it's extremely common. And even we talk to our students as they come through the program about exactly that. Because accountants, we're knowledge seekers. We love the information and we love to learn. Now, it's all great to do that. And, that saying that knowledge is power. Well, to a degree, unless you do something with it. It's not powerful until you do something with it. So I think, is there some tips and tricks for not doing this thing, Kyelie? So we go away, we get all this knowledge, we're quite comfortable in that knowledge zone, but then how do we step into that action zone and how do we do something about it? And I think initially it comes down to planning and the understanding. Now, for me, I went away this week and this week's calendar was completely clear. So I knew when I came back that it was going to be manic and things were going to be crazy. So I cleared my calendar as best I could already 3 months ago. So I think there's some planning in that. There's this realization that I'm going to get some knowledge and I should have some time to sit down and think about it. I don't know. What did you do? Is your calendar gone on as normal, or do you have some regular time?
Yeah, really great question. So the way I deal with conferences, particularly like that, or anything where it's a bit of vendor overwhelm, is I made sure that before I came home, and fantastic if these are in your own state, but before you get packed up and go to work, then you lay out all of the stuff that you've received from all of the vendors and do a cull.
Yeah.
I loved that, but that's the same, and I think that one's the best one.
Yes.
No, yes, no, yes, no.
Yes.
So you're really only left with the stuff that you like. And then I've promptly divvied it up to staff, which I haven't done yet because I'm waiting to speak to them individually. So I had a team meeting yesterday morning. I gave them a really quick snapshot of what I did on my 2 days. And I'll be talking to them this week about what I want them to do and what I want them to look into.
Great.
So I know that I saw some vendors that have similar products out there who weren't there as well. So we need to do comparisons. But the thing that happens, that everybody knows that happens, is already yesterday I got overwhelmed with people wanting to meet with me.
Yes.
So I'm very busy right now because it's like 4th of May. Oh, it's the 4th of May today. So I have told everyone who wants to meet with me, except for some, so I'll carve them out in a second, that I can't meet with them until the first week of July.
Yes.
Because I am so focused on tax planning at the moment.
Yes.
And it's not in, like I've already put on a new tax planning strategy system and that sort of thing already. So I don't do anything quickly. I do things like very thoughtfully and with lots of consultation with my staff. But there is some things that I know that my clients need and are waiting for.
Yeah.
Those people get priority.
Okay. Excellent. And so I like what you said there was you brought your team into that. Now, they didn't necessarily go off and attend the conference or whatever, but you've been able to bring back some information for them, give them a heads up, and we'll say to them, go check this out. Let me know what you think. Come back to me, or come back to the firm, the team in its entirety, and tell us what you think. Because there's always new stuff out there, right? And this is just one element of working on your business. There's so much else. So I think what we got from that is just understanding when you're going to go somewhere and learn or get some knowledge, that's not the end. If we're going to work on our business, that's just the start. That's actually the first part. We've got to then allow time and resources to do something with that. So when I'm talking to business owners, whether it's in the SME market or accountants, I talk about sort of 4 major areas in their organizational structure that we should be considering. And whether we're a sole practitioner and it's just us, or whether we're a multi-partner firm with a number of staff, it doesn't make any difference. It's considering what the business structure looks like as a whole. So I talk about that decisions will be made at board level. So we'll have these strategic type decisions. We will be making business administration decisions and management decisions. We will be making production decisions, and we will be making business development and marketing decisions. So I see there's 4 key aspects to a business regardless of where it is. Now, we all may wear that hat. There might be no one else to wear any other hats, and we might be doing it all. That's fine, but be conscious of the 4 different areas, not wrap it all in together. I think if there's an awareness around the organizational structure, when you've got your board member hat on, or your chairman of the board hat on, when you've got your accountant production hat on, when do I have my marketers hat on, and when do I have my business administration and management hat on? Stuff that falls into there is HR, IT, systems and processes, or systems and processes will lean over into that production area as well. Production will come back to people, people fit in there, how training in the technical sense, marketing and business development. What am I doing with my clients? Where am I on social media? What's the website look like? What activities am I doing out there to further our firm and what's happening with it? And at board level, strategy. Where is this firm going? What do I want to achieve? What are our goals? What do I want this to look like in 5 years? There's so much that you need to consider. And I think as accountants, we try to bundle it all up together and think we're doing it. And then that makes it really hard. So, I think separating it out, Kylie, that's my strategy for anyone trying to work on their business. I don't know if you think about it a bit like that.
A little bit, but I guess for me, practically, it's a little bit about, well, I've only got this amount of time.
Yes.
Where am I going to spend it? So when I talk to my accountant friends about this stuff, it's always about, well, the first thing to know is really to define your why.
Yes.
Why are we doing this? Because that helps figure out what do I want.
Exactly.
If I know why I am doing this, then I know what I want,
put your board member hat on. Exactly. Where am I going? Yes.
Exactly. Then figure out what your maybe 3 or 4 and absolutely no more pain points are. What is really annoying me, or what is holding up things in my business mechanically, or what is going wrong in my business that needs to be fixed immediately, or that I just personally find unacceptable. Other people might think it's okay, but that's not cool with me because it doesn't suit my why and my what.
Correct.
And then start there for your development. Do you know what I mean? And you'll be so surprised at all the little offshoots. It's like tree roots, that come from that. But practically, I think some people just feel overwhelmed and they think, I don't have time for that.
Yes.
I just don't have time for that.
No, I'll just go back to work and I'm comfortable there, and I'll just go back and I'll keep doing work and I'll be fine. But that will only get you so far.
It's about purpose as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the other thing is, if you do have a team, these days staff are looking for direction. They want to know what strategic direction the business is going in. So, there's an expectation that you are really working on your business and that you've got this business outlook and it's revolving. I had an interview last night with a potential staff member, and this hilarious, it's sounding funny because he wasn't funny. He was actually very good. It was funny to me because we were talking about this morning, and he said, well, where do you see your business in 5 years' time? And a very low level intermediate. And I was like,
wow. Yeah, but that's where our market is. If we're thinking about our resources, our people, human resources, that's exactly what's sitting out there. It's a very competitive talent pool. It's one of the most highly competitive industries as far as jobs go, and he was interviewing you. He was thinking, yes, it's like, do I want to work for this person? Do I want to come to that firm? Now, you would have answered that beautifully, no doubt. But for some of us, we can get put on the spot if we've not thought about that. And we've got to think really consciously about where our people are coming from and what their needs are and address them, and it's good for business. So if we look at that, not even an age bracket, I think it's just society, generational, the last 2 years or so have really shifted our worldview. And, I think that's part of it, but I think, there's a generational shift going on as well with what people want from work, from their life, from all of these different things. So they want to be part of something bigger and they want to be led on this journey. Yeah.
So I would encourage you to ask yourself that question. If I was my employee, what would I think about?
What would I want?
And it's not, and it's not, do I like the work? Do I like the other people? Do I like this? Do I like that? But what would I think of what I did every day? I come to work, it's like this. The other people, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Think about, what culture am I creating? Is that actually the culture that I desire? Have I ever thought about that before?
Yes.
These are all the leading questions that you're probably talking to your clients about.
Yes.
But you really need to unpack for yourself. So I've talked about this before in Clubhouse, and I don't know if I've raised it since we've been doing this recording thing, Lynda, that you're very clever about and you've got going on.
Thank you.
But one of the best things I think you can do, particularly if you are a sole practitioner, is get yourself a board of advisors. Now, these trusted colleagues or other people, people in professional services work well. Like I think people in law, you know, that sort of thing. But anyone really who is a business owner or, you know, that C or E level works really, really well. Keep it fairly tight. You want to, you know, you're going to talk about some confidential things about your business. So it depends on how formal you want to make it or how well you know it. But having a little group like that is priceless for your, first of all, your mental health. But second of all, your business growth and development, because you each gain so much value from each other without walking in each other's shoes.
Absolutely. And I think the key to those, Kylie, when we're coming into those is it's not about picking your business apart. It's not about, oh, you're bad in business. That's, you know, why are you even in business? It's not a negative thing. And as I think we've got a lot of perfectionism hanging around in accounting, and sometimes we don't like to fess up. There's like, you know what? I don't even know what that term is that you just said is some marketing term, you know, a click funnel or something. What is that? We've got to be open. Yeah.
What is that?
We've got to be open to going, I don't know what that is. Help me learn that. It's okay. You're not, I think in the industry, again, there's been this perpetuated notion of us being business know-it-alls, you know, that we know it all. We've been put up on these high pedestals for our clients. But hang on a minute, you don't. We're human. We don't know it all. And for us to get better, we've got to then take a very objective and realistic view of what's going on and be open. There's no, when you've got the right board of advice or the right help in this area, whatever it is, mentors, coaches, even in Facebook groups, you know, and things like that. There's a lot of help out there. Just be open and honest, and don't be afraid of what people are going to say. Because if you're thinking it and you don't know what the answer is, I guarantee there's 100 other people out there that don't know it either. So, you know, I think that's the part of it.
And even if they do know it, they didn't at some point.
Correct.
The other thing that you really get from that is you understand where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are. So you look at other business owners and you're like, oh, they're really good at that and I'm not so good, but I have this skill, but they're like, oh, how do you do that? And you realize, okay, not everyone's good at everything, which is this really random thing that when people go into business, they're just like, I'm just going to be good at everything.
Why do we think that? I don't know. Is that hope? I think that's hope. We all got to have hope.
Yeah. We do have to have hope, especially in current times.
Yes.
So I think it's great to assess that in a very gentle manner. You know, what are the weaknesses, and identifying what your true weaknesses are, what you think your weaknesses are. Like, Lynda, you always say, I'm an introvert. I don't think that's your weakness. You know what I mean? You probably don't either.
No, I don't actually. I've switched it around very much so. Yeah.
So when you know what your strengths and your skills and also what your things to work on are, you can bring on the right team to support
Correct.
you in that area. Or you can go, okay, well, I've got the ability to sort this out in my business myself, but I'm going to need help around this area.
Yes. I think in general, as an industry, the people that I talk to a lot of people in the accounting industry, we're very humble and we're very big-hearted, and that's exactly why we're perfectly made up to do what we do. And I think we can be extremely humble in very closed settings. But what we're talking about, or even just with ourselves, we realize it, but to actually say it out loud or to, you know, admit, don't know that or not sure on that, that's confronting for us, I think. And it's being able to overcome that. Now, as you rightly pointed out, I've had a huge journey in a whole lot of confronting stuff. And there's a part of me that does just jump in feet first. and just see what happens. But, you know, it's been a wild ride, and I'm very open, and I know you are, Kyelie, as well, to support anybody that is going through that, you know, in a very kind and empathetic way, because we've been there, we've done that. I call it being empathetically pushy, and so that's being able to boss people around, but in an empathetic way. So that's my take on that. But yeah, I think it's be open, be brave, have some courage to go, you know what, I want my business. I know I've got this potential. Back yourself in. I've got this potential to go from here to here, but I need some help. Everybody needs help. Nobody gets to where they are without some help along the way. So, yeah, love your board of advice. How did you go out and find because you have a board of advice, Kyelie, don't you?
Yeah, it's pretty like a loosey-goosey one these days. Like, I've got this group of individuals that I know that I can pick up the phone, and I really just want your opinion on what it is or what you would do in this space. We catch up quarterly. So there are quarterly dinners that we have together, and then informally without the whole group where needed. So you sort of know who you can go to for different things at different times. I'm actually having lunch today with a couple of those people.
Fabulous.
Which is lovely.
Very nice.
So, yeah, like it definitely adds comfort because it makes you feel less alone. I think one of the things about accounting is we have become actually a really friendly profession.
Yes.
I think COVID amplified that a lot.
Yes.
Everyone is super friendly. Everyone is really nice. People were probably like that before. I didn't really notice because I'm a very run your own race, keep your head down, you know, whatever. Not really aware of what everyone else is doing. But the accounting industry is getting very friendly. You know, people are friendly. People want to help you out. So definitely don't be afraid to ask.
No.
I don't think people are competition. Like,
no.
And that's something that you really have to get over.
Yes.
If you want to be part of this industry and you want to move forward in your business and leverage off other people for that.
Absolutely. If you want to help take this industry into the future, it's where you want to stay if it is in your future, because it's definitely in mine. You know, it is absolutely about that. And I think if we reflect on, I've been in this game for a long time. If I reflect back 20 years ago, it was very much about competition. You didn't tell anyone anything.
Yeah.
You didn't talk to anyone about your business. You did none of that, because what if they stole your clients? Oh my gosh. You know, it's like there is so much work out there for us if we just go looking for it, learn, develop our team members, develop our own services, what we're good at, what we like to do. There is so much out there for us. And all we're going to do is flip that switch onto the positive side of collaboration and sharing and knowledge. And you're right, Kyelie, I'm definitely seeing that movement change. It definitely is changing. Thank goodness it's moving in the right direction, because accountants have so much to offer, and we're only hardly even scratching the surface of this, you know. So I think there is so much more for us to do. All right. So what we want to get to here is we've dropped a whole lot of little hints and some really cool stuff about what it is you should be doing to work on your business. How do we do it? So how do we get this time? What is it? So I think let's start with the first thing is around creating capacity for us to do it. So looking at time, resources, money, how do we do this then? You know, you may have to sit back and actually get some more capacity, and it may not be in the area that you think it is. Every time I talk to accountants and they go, I'm so busy, Lynda, I need another accountant. And I'll go in and have a look at their business and go, do you really need another accountant? I don't think you do. It can be more in the administration side or in the marketing side or in the very lower level support role. So I think fresh eyes on some of these things too, and whether that's a board of advice or something else, again, where could we create some resources? Another area is then in delegation. often as a business owner, and Kyelie, you talked about this before, you're coming back to your team, you got all these great ideas from the expo you just went to, and you're going to divvy it up to your team members. You're not going to do all of it. Now, I'm working with a particular accounting firm at the moment, and the owner has always had trouble delegating. They think they have to do everything. And the team are just sitting there going, oh, I'll try, I'll help. And when you give them a go, they just like smashed it out the door, and it's just this constant reassurance. Someone else can do this. You just need to direct them. Kyelie, you involve your team quite a lot, because I think that's working on, we've got to realize, happens at every level within the business. Everyone can work on the business. You've just got to have the foresight as the leader to be able to go, who can do what, and divvy up the tasks. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, look, I get that people don't want to delegate some of the stuff, but I think what you have to realize is you're not delegating the decision, you're delegating the research.
Yes, great thing. Yes.
Yeah. So the decision will always come back to the decision maker or makers. So when you share this responsibility with the staff member, it's about setting clear expectations and boundaries. So I openly say things like this to my team. I want you to look into this, and I'm really not sure about it. It might be a complete waste of our time, but what if it isn't? So I only spent 25 minutes on this. Do you know what I mean? So
yes.
They go into it going, all right, this might be amazing or it might be rubbish, and I'm only allowed to spend 25 minutes.
Yes.
And then if they come back, and sometimes they spend 15 minutes and they come back and they say, it's amazing, but I need more time.
I need more time. Yes.
And I'm like, great.
Go for it.
Or I'm like, nah, we've already got this that you don't even know about that does that. Pull out. Like, no way. We're out. So it's about really being clear about what you're specifically looking for. Is there a specific problem? So, for example, the tools that I went to ABE looking for some tools for specific clients.
Mm-hmm.
I've come back and I'll say to a team member today or tomorrow, I want you to have a look at this. Just do as much research as you can in 15 minutes, because you don't want them spending hours of time, because we could be getting them to do billable work. Have a think about it. Then you're going to sit in the meeting that we're going to have next week. Don't talk to me until after the meeting. And then that's 2 minds, because you don't want to give them your opinion. Okay, you actually want them to have an independent view, so that then they are actually giving you some real value, and you're not taking that away from them. So not only does it give staff members autonomy, which is what they want, but it gives them some. I like that it gives them, brushes up on some skills as well, like being able to look into something quickly, review it, and come back with some sort of simple answer.
Yeah, works perfect. Perfect. So we've just got a question out there from somebody that's watching us on Facebook. I think we just need a little bit more information about that, though, Kyelie. They're talking about, when you're talking to a client, do you think you were talking leadership, or are we talking standalone relations? I'm not quite sure what you mean there, so if we could get a little bit more information. But I do think that very much we are talking, more leadership. I think as accountants, we can step into more of a leadership, mentoring, coaching, professional advice type role. Whatever you want to call that, I think that's absolutely where we can go. But I'm not sure if I'm answering your question. So help us out there a little bit with a bit more information.
While we're waiting for that, I think that really brings up the best question you can ask yourself is, what am I telling my clients to do when I'm not doing myself?
Yes. Yes.
And I don't want to move on more quickly, but I really want to speak practically about how to carve out time for working on your business. So do you want to talk about that now, Lynda?
Yes, let's do that, because I think there's 3 things to doing this. I think there's create the capacity first, have a look at it, actually allocate the time. You've got to be diligent with this. You've got to exercise your diligence muscle. If you're not going to be diligent with it, then how can you expect anybody else to be? So first plan, then we need to execute. So I think that's the 3 things. Execute. All right. How do we carve out time, Kyelie? What's that look like?
Well, first you need to think about the way you work. Are you someone that likes to do things in bite-sized pieces?
Yes.
Or are you someone that needs to really
I like that.
yourself? if you are an immerse yourself person, it might be better that you take 2 days out of the office and smash this out, and then come back with, you know, a few 2-hour chunks every other week, you know, for the next 4 weeks, and really get this plan done. I am not really an immerse myself person, but some of the people I work with are, because they find it hard to take themselves away from I call it busy work, which is the client work.
Yeah. And away from the hustle and bustle of an office, right? You know, yes.
Yeah. And that's just the different ways we work, you know. They're very caring. Not that I'm uncaring towards the client, but I'm very good at drawing a very clear line between now it's time to work on the business, because the way I see it is the more I put into the business, the better it's going to be for the clients and the better it's going to be for us. The better we work, the better we can sort this out, the more enjoyable that client experience is going to be. So
Absolutely.
How is that not win-win?
Yes.
You know.
And I think too, another thing that we can.
I don't know that everyone feels that way.
Sorry, Kyelie. My apologies.
I
also think too is, yes, coming back to understanding how you work, I think also is understanding the best time for you to do this too. Now, as a introvert and a morning person, first up in the morning is often when my ideas are coming, you know, and it's then if you're going to work on your business, for me, it will tend to be an early morning. And it might even be before office hours. I tend to get into a lot of this stuff at, 6 a.m. in the morning or something like that, just because I wake up, my brain's already awake, I'm off and running, blah, 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 blah. My team just go, oh my gosh, she was up early this morning, she's doing all this stuff. But that's when I like to do that sort of thing. I think it can be a mixture too. I also don't mind going away for a day and actually immersing yourself, because you're right. If you're not good at carving out this time and being able to go, no, I can't talk about that now. If we haven't quite exercised our diligence and accountability muscle as much as we would like, we get a bit drawn back into what's happening with clients, staff, the business in general, then perhaps we do have to go away. And, I work with a lot of directors in accounting firms that need that. We go off and we do a 2-day director retreat, and we talk about a whole lot of stuff away from the business. We probably do 6 hours a day and come back with a whole lot of things. But we're very conscious then of how do we put that into action and giving priorities to what we're doing. Because, again, it's fabulous. Come up with all these ideas. But what are you going to do about them when you get back to your full-time job? So you've got to be realistic about that as well. So is it a half day on Friday? Is it early morning of a Wednesday morning? Were you working on your business listening to us? That's exactly that. You're learning. Is it, give yourself some credit and it's permission. It's okay to go away to the Accounting Business Expo in Sydney and have an extra couple of days hanging around. It's okay that you do that, because that is working on that's going to be better for you, better for your team, and better for your clients in the long run. So, yeah, absolutely. Create that capacity. But I think it does come back to diligence, accountability, and to get some help. Be open and realistic, getting help around those areas. I also had a couple of things for us when we don't quite know where to start as accountants. I think too, because, it's tricky. If you want to start this on your own, one of the first things that I'll go in and look at when I'm working with an accounting firm is your numbers. We're numbers people. Know your numbers. And I think a lot of accountants don't know their numbers. That's okay. That's fine. We're busy helping everybody else. But therein lies the problem. So I think if you don't know your numbers, you're not getting some regular reporting happening for your business to even give you some of those indicators of what's happening, then you need to start doing that. You need to make it easy for yourself to get this information quickly and efficiently, because if it's hard, guess what? We're not going to do it. So it needs to be quick and easy. And maybe you've got to look at delegating some of that stuff to, even if you need an external bookkeeper yourself. Sounds silly, but that might have to happen. So know your numbers. I think it's walk your talk as well. Because if we don't know our numbers, we're not using our numbers, how can we help our clients do that? And if we're not working on the business, how can we ask our team to help us work on the business? So walk your talk. I think that's really important. Learning from others, listening in to conversations like Kyelie and I have every week. Listen to those replays. Get onto some Facebook groups. LinkedIn is another great one for us. There's a lot of really good information around there. Follow the people that are talking about business topics and accounting topics, and not in the technical sense. We can get a lot of technical training. I like to just call it the business of accounting. Follow people that talk about that. There's so much you can learn, and be open to your own personal development. Kyelie, I think in an interview you did at the Accounting Business Expo, you said something like, we can always do more, or there's always something better, or there's always something coming along. Yes, we can. That doesn't need to be a big weight on our shoulders. That just needs to be small steps that we can take to just do something, elevate what we're doing, learn a little something new. I know you feel, about that there's always something more to achieve. And that invigorates you. It invigorates me too. That's how I roll. For some of us, we can feel a bit of pressure about that. But I think it's like, just let that go. There is always something, and there's somebody else out there doing and struggling with the same things you are. You've just got to go and find your people. I think that's important. Well, how do you feel about that,
Yeah.
Carl? Yep.
No, look, I completely agree with you. I think that working on your business can start with really small steps, and it doesn't mean that you need to, restructure your whole business or start this new strategic plan overnight. It can be simple things like, when I said before, what are my pain points? What do I lie awake in bed thinking about, or what really annoys me every single day that I haven't changed? And I will give you the perfect example of my, practical thing that I did, which was, at the moment, we're still working a week in the office and a week out of the office at the moment. And my home setup is good. Like, I've got my 3 screens plus my Surface Pro. Like, I'm not complaining, but it just wasn't really working for me.
Yes.
So I came home and I got my son's music stand out. I'm looking at it now, and I set my external monitor up there, and now I have 4 screens plus my Surface Pro.
Yes.
And you have no idea how much joy that brings me. Because now it means that I can use this particular program that I use for my advisory reports so much more easily, and it actually saves me time. And what was happening is, every month when I went to pull those reports for clients, I'd just be really annoyed and grumpy, but I wouldn't do anything about it other than being annoyed and grumpy, because it wasn't really a thing for me. Because sometimes that week fell in the office and I was asleep. Sometimes that week fell at home. It was really annoying. So what my point is don't overlook the small things, because the small things add up, and those small things can steal your time and they can steal your joy.
Absolutely.
And it's not okay.
No, that's not okay. And that's a classic case of just doing a small little thing that made it easy and comfortable for you. Make it easy. Otherwise, it's just, it's just hard all the time. We just don't have to have it hard all the time. We want to reach this point of it being easy and enjoyable. Can we have that 100% of the time? Maybe not quite. But we can have it for a very large proportion of it if we just look at it and take the time. I love that example, Kyelie. Well done to you with the 4th screen.
I'm very happy about it.
Yes.
It's working for me well. Yesterday was my first day. It's very good.
Yes, excellent. So our question has come back in from Facebook, and they've said, hello out there in Facebook. So sometimes I feel that it is confronting for a client when I take a leadership role. That might be because of a couple of things. Either I'm not doing the leadership well, or it's hard for the client to accept. Now, I think it's both, a little bit of both. And actually, it's not your leadership Facebook user. I'd love if you type in your name. That'd be really helpful so we could talk to you. But it's not your leadership. I think it's all about in the conversations that we have and how you position it.
Delivery.
Yes, and delivery. And there's a real unique knack about doing that. And I think that's look, if I shamelessly give myself a plug, that's the area that I play in. That's what, my process is all about, is the front piece, the conversation, the positioning of what we want to help the client with. When we get them on board, they trust us, and then we can do all of this leadership stuff, this direction stuff, all of that. Kyelie, similar way for you, I'd imagine, is you do your getting to know your business, right?
Absolutely. Like, we are a relationship-based firm, which means that each individual in my office is responsible for getting to know each of our clients and their businesses, and that's how trust is formed. And when there is trust, you can basically say anything you want to a client in a professional manner, or sometimes it's not even that professional. Sometimes it's just, hey, this is how it is, and they'll take it. I will often give not so great news with, hey, you're not going to want to hear this, but it's my job to tell you that.
Yes.
Yes. And sometimes, especially in the advisory piece, which is really the space that you live in, Lynda, if I'm about to tell clients something that they haven't realized, but that their numbers are telling me, or that I can see from their business or hear from what they're saying, I'm going to say, look, what I'm hearing is this, and you can take that and do something about it, or you can think she's a crazy person and never think about this again.
Exactly right. It's not our job to fix everything, but it absolutely is our job to bring awareness to things when it is sitting right in front of us and we can see it. Now, I think also too, as accountants, we think everybody can see this. We think everybody can see the pattern in the numbers and what's going on and what's actually happening. I'll give you a little tip. They can't. Most people can't. That is something that we are absolutely amazing at. So we need to share that more and not be afraid to do that. And I think, in all honesty, we have a responsibility to, Kyelie. And if we're holding this back, then are we really serving clients to the best of our ability? I know, as big-hearted people, it feels like sometimes you're being a bit bossy, or you're telling people what to do, or you're bringing them bad news and you're bringing them down. You can always do these things in a positive light, just what you said, Kyelie. It's, again, how you frame it. It's just like, here's the thing. Here's what I can see. What could we do about that? And you collaborate with them. So there is a knack in doing that. But, and I know a lot of my students have trouble with that position. How do I tell clients that it's not working? How do I tell clients that, going off to that thing and spending $50,000 on a marketing campaign is not going to help, because internally their numbers they're ineffective because their numbers are showing me that. I think you just got to have the conversations and open up, and you can absolutely do it in a professional way. Our Facebook users said great advice. Thank you to us, Kyelie. Yes, you are very welcome.
So just getting back to the topic on hand, I think another really important thing to just take away from today and just to dwell on and consider is how your clients view you and view your business. A lot of the time, there's becoming a real shift from the clients having one accountant to the clients using an accounting firm, and they might be very attached to the person that they deal with. But really, accounting firms are becoming brands. They work with a team of people. Not one person can do all their stuff. They know everybody. This is how it is.
Yes.
When you get your firm on track and you're going places and you're making changes and there's positive things happening and clients can see that, it's amazing how they respond differently to your advice that you give, because they feel like it develops that trust a little bit more.
Absolutely.
So just consider that as well.
Yes, I think it is. And that goes right back to our success in business. In order to be successful with clients and for them to have the trust and to want this advice from you, you need to first be successful for yourself. And what that will do, it's not about going out there and going, I did it, look at this, I can help. It's about the confidence and the clarity that just brings you, and how your journey, sharing that with clients, is very relatable. And that's one of the things then that accountants, you know, often tarnished with, that we're not relatable. And, you know, so sharing our journey, some more than others, you know, it's okay. It's because there's a whole lot of reasons. That's a whole other topic. I can't get into that now. And it's not because we're not relatable. It's just the way we go about things sometimes, which is all okay. But I think if we start to wrap this up, Kylie, working on your business, so important to be successful in business for yourself, and all that brings will then help you be more successful with your clients and your team members. So considering that there's much more to business than working in it, we need to be able to work on it, that there is different areas in business, not just the production area. We have business administration and management, we have marketing and business development, and we also have that strategic board side of what we need to do. Carving out time, creating the capacity. We need to create capacity to be able to do this, whether we use some people, whether we put some money towards this, whether we find a board of advice to help us, you know, and actually allocate the time. We talked about looking at how you work and when is the best time for you to do that. Is it early mornings? Is it late at night? Is it even during a work day? Is it immerse yourself, like Kyelie said, go away for 2 days? Or is it 2 hours every other day? You know, what does it look like? And look into that. Start with your why. Love that. What's our purpose for being in business in the first place? I guarantee it's not because you want to pump out tax returns and financials for clients. There is some other reason why you are in business, and get to that level. So start with your why, allocate your time, do some planning, look at that, and then go away and execute. Just take some small steps and you will be well on your way to working on rather than always working in. Kyelie, do you have any tips for everyone out there this morning?
You just covered everything we talked about.
Oh, did I?
Good job, Lynda. No, that's awesome. I think the thing is, if you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling like it's all too hard basket, just start. Like that is the best thing that you can possibly do. And if you're brave, ask your team what they want. You know, you or me, what would you do first?
Yes.
It's a really good question, but it is super, super scary. And you probably may or may not like the answer. So just think hard about whether you want to do that. But if you're feeling really stuck and don't know where to start, they'll tell you.
They will tell you. That's exactly right. And so thank you, everybody, for listening in. Next week, we'll be back. We've got a run now of weeks right up until our June break. So 11th of May next week. Gosh, where is this year going? 7 a.m. Kyelie and I will be back. Now, we've just been talking working on your business. So we're going to take that to a new level next week and talk about the 3 steps to effective capacity planning. So some numbers, some great, things to talk about. It's a great place to start working on your business and keeping that side of things going. So that's what we're doing in our next topic, capacity planning. And we hope to see you all listening in. Thank you once again, Kyelie. Amazing. And good luck with all the tax planning in this week and the future weeks, of course.
Thanks, Lynda. See you guys next week.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.